Friends, welcome back to my channel. If you've been following along, we just finished going over the Illustrator interface in part 1 and part 2. Now we're getting into one of the most important tools in Illustrator, which is the pen tool. So I know this tool can feel confusing at first, but in this video I'm going to break it down in a simple way so it actually makes sense. So this is going to be a 15-minute video where I'll walk you through how it works, plus some tips and tricks to help you get more comfortable using it. And the number one tip I'm going to say here is get you a mouse. A mouse, if you have a computer, you already have a mouse, but if you have a laptop, please get a mouse because using it for your pen tool is extremely useful. So let's get into it, guys. All right, friends, like I said, this pen tool is going to be intimidating for a few people, especially if you're a beginner, but that's okay. The best way to learn and understand a tool is to practice. Practice, practice. Go back to Illustrator, practice the pen tool, get your mouse, because with the mouse, it is a lot easier for you to be able to do your points and to make sure that you can use it and connect it. Because if you have a laptop and you're using the pad on the laptop, it's not going to help with the pen tool and you're going to get even more frustrated. So if you haven't watched your first videos yet, please go back and start there so this is easier to follow, especially if you don't understand how the interface works for Illustrator. So what is the pen tool? The pen tool is this object right here. Is the third one from the very first line. And to find it quick, you click on P on your keyboard and it'll pop up. So the pen tool, pretty much think of it like a pen connecting the dots. Just like I did here with these triangles, it just connects the dots for you. So remember how the last video, we talked about the tools here. We have the rectangle tool, the square tool, the ellipse tools. Those tools are just the basic ones that you don't need the pen tool for unless you really want to do it by hand. That's up to you. But with these tools, they're very limited. And you can create other shapes with these tools. It's just going to take you a lot longer. But with the pen tool, it's easier. So let's say if you need to do a triangle, you just do your triangle. You just shape it the way that you want and you have a triangle. You can also create a triangle with your square or rectangle. But again, it's just going to create a lot of work for you as a beginner. So if you want to start and you just want to do a straight line, you start from beginning and press enter. There you go. You have your lines. All right. So now let's talk about curves. Curves is usually where people get confused with the pen tool. To create curves, you're going to click and drag instead of just clicking, just like this. Create and you drag. I have to fix my stroke here. And again, if you can't see your design, make sure that your stroke is showing. And to view that, you go under your properties, under stroke, and you pick a color. So for your curves, like I'm showing you here, you click and you drag. So when you drag them, these handles right here comes out. If you are looking at the screen, you see this tiny purple title right there. Let me go ahead and move in. This small is called handle. My handle is going to follow the direction that I have it in. Think of it like this. When you drag, the handles comes out. And these handles control the direction of your curves. The direction that you drag is the direction that your curve is going to follow. So if you have a curve like this, you hit Windows if you need to change the handles. The direction that you drag is the direction that your curve is going to follow. So when you drag it, your handles are going the same way that you're following it with. I hope this makes sense. Let's create something simple like a teardrop shape to show you exactly what we mean. So with the teardrop shape, I have it here, the beginning, so I'm dragging it the direction that my curve is going, that is following, that's where my handle is going. And the further that you go with your handle, the bigger your design gets and the bigger your handles gets. So you always want to make sure you either go a way that you want it to. You can drag and create the shape that you need. Sometimes if you go too big, you have to come back and adjust. And that's okay too. And now I need to change it. And it locks it in for me. You see that anchor in that midpoint right there? This is where you are going to change your design. And if you need to make it bigger, smaller, this is where you need to go. But since we are working with the handles right now, we are going to work with these two handles. So click Windows on your computer, on your keyboard. Let's come down here and let's drag it. So right now I'm dragging it to one side, making it bigger, dragging it to the other, and I just made it even. But now it's slanted. Let's fix that mistake. Also, notice that I'm not placing a lot of points. And because the more points you have, the crazier it looks. So the fewer points that you use, the smoother your shape will look. If you want a crazy shape and that's your design, hey, be creative, do what you want, add the points. But if you want a smooth, simple shape just like this here, the fewer points that you have, the points I'm talking about are the anchor points, the smoother your shape will look. Okay, so since this is slanted right here, it's slightly slanted, I'm trying to fix this mistake. So to make sure I fix that mistake, hold on to Window in your keyboard and you adjust slightly. So now if you want it more slanted, you just move with your handles and adjust the size. So let's say you're trying to make the size of the teardrop smaller on one side and the other side. Make sure you still hold on to your windows to do the adjustments, because the minute that you let go, it'll just let it go and you can't fix it. So now I just made a smaller teardrop. If I wanted to make bigger, I just adjust the sizes the way that I want to. And there you have it. And now with this design, I want to adjust the top tier. Because remember, when you're making the design, it snaps the anchor in for you. It snaps the points for you. That's the beauty of Illustrator. But let's say you want to change the shape of the top of your design here. Click on your direct selection tool. You see right here in the middle this small circle. Let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit more. It gets smaller as you zoom in, but you can see the circle. It changed the design and rounds it up for you instead of pointing. So if you want to keep it the shape and say, hey, I want to change my teardrop to a different design. If you want to make an egg, if you want to make a dome, it won't make a perfect circle. So if you're looking to make a perfect circle, the shape tools makes you a perfect circle. And the best way to make a perfect circle, shift, it locks it in for you. And it gives you the sizes and everything. You just have to pay attention. And voila, your perfect circle. But in the meantime, we are working with the pen tool, everything. Because I released it, now I can't go back to it. And now you have your points. It gives you different points. So if you need to add on to your design, it adds onto it. I hope this is clear and that it makes sense, because we are now going to get into a little bit more complex shape so you guys can see exactly if you need to make a different shape with something else. So let's go ahead and bring in the image. So bring in your image, To do that, you have to go to your file, place, and bring in the image that you have. So wherever that you saved it, bring it in, drag and drop. On top here, you'll see embedded, edit in Photoshop. You can do that. Image trace if you need to trace an image, if you need to crop it. There are so many different things that you can do here. But since right now we're just working in Illustrator, not in Photoshop, click on embed. You can also unembed it, but it brings it in for you. So embeds means it connects to your Illustrator. That's all it means. So now I have this apple design right here. So right now we are not going to focus on making it perfect. We're just focusing on placing the points and adjusting the curves. So for example, you need to make sure, hey, we are going to start in the midpoint here. That's the midpoint Illustrator is showing you. You start there and you start your practice. The further that you go with your handles, the further that Illustrator is going to push it out. And that's annoying. If you need to go back to something and start over, and you don't want to restart completely over, Windows Z. So Windows Z, it goes back to wherever that you stopped at, and you want to continue without starting completely over. We're adjusting, fixing. We're not focusing on making it perfect. We just need to put in our handles. We can fix that later because we're practicing. And connect. So one tip, whenever you are doing something like this and practicing, always wait until you're completely done to, one, to connect your design, because if you don't do that, you risk adding too many anchor points. And too many anchor points means that your design is not going to look smooth. The fewer anchor points, the smoother your shape will look. So if something looks off, you don't want to restart over, you do Windows Z. But also, is another tool, direct selection tool, moves your anchor points around. So you move this around here. If you want to move the size, not the size, but just the direction. That's without messing with your handles. We are going to mess with the handles in a second, but I'm just showing you exactly here. If you just need to move the direction here of your anchor points. Just adjusting one point can completely change your shape. So if you want to keep it easy on yourself, do not add any extra points that you don't need because you're going to spend that time to fix it. So now let's go ahead and adjust the handles to fix the curves. Window, go back to your selection tool, not the direct selection, but the selection tool. Right now, we are going to work on our handles. I made this a little bit bigger in a different color just for you to see what I'm talking about with the handles. So you have your handles. Click on your design here, and I'm trying to fix the handles. Make sure you click on Windows to fix your handles. I think I deleted a point. Yep, I did. Direct selection or Windows also changes your anchor points. Since we're moving the handles, removing them, you just need to make sure your points And here, I think I gave it an extra point. That's why it looks weird. But we can fix that in a second. But you're making sure, right now we are just practicing. Like I said, we're not worried about making it perfect. We're just practicing moving our points, practicing moving our handles, making it bigger, making it smaller, changing the direction of the points. Because right now we're just trying to fix the ankle points. It just takes practice, so even small adjustments can make a difference. So the more you play with your ankle points and handles, the more natural everything will start to feel, the more comfortable you start to feel with the pencil and the program, and go from there. To be a better designer, to be a good designer, to even be a great designer is always practice. And I can say this, the minute you stop practicing with something, you start losing your creativity. You start forgetting things. And sometimes you can say it's like riding a bike, but some of these tools, especially some of these programs, they do change all the time with new updates, with new things, with new. You always have to keep learning, always practice, always sit down and watch a YouTube video like this one here and learn new things. All right, friends. So now we are going to end this video, take a little break, and come back for the next practice video. In that one, we're going to actually practice and create using the pen tool. And I'll have some exercises for you so you can download and work on your own time. So see you in the next one, friends.